Have you ever worked for two managers who seemed completely different? One wanted updates constantly. The other barely checked in. One gave detailed instructions. The other simply said, "Here's the goal. Figure it out." One asked for your opinion before making decisions. Another made the decision and expected you to execute it. Different managers can create completely different workplace experiences. But here's the good news. You don't need to work exactly the same way with every manager. You need to understand how they operate. Management styles influence how managers communicate, make decisions, set expectations, and interact with their teams. There isn't one management style that works perfectly in every situation, and managers often adapt their approach depending on the team and circumstances. Coursera. Today we're looking at 6 common management styles and, more importantly, how you can work effectively with each one. Let's get started. 1. The authoritative manager. The authoritative manager tends to provide clear direction. They may say, "This is what needs to be done. This is the deadline. This is the expected outcome." They often make decisions quickly and may be particularly useful when a team needs structure or when a situation requires fast action. Coursera. How should you work with them? Be prepared. Understand the instructions. Know the deadline. Deliver what was requested. If you disagree, don't simply say, "I don't think that's going to work." Instead, "I see the objective. Could I suggest another approach that may reduce the risk?" You're showing that you can follow direction while still thinking critically. 2. The supportive manager. The supportive manager focuses heavily on helping employees develop. They may ask, "How are you doing? What support do you need? What skills would you like to develop?" This management approach can create opportunities for learning and professional development. But don't make the mistake of assuming supportive means relaxed about performance. A good supportive manager can still expect strong results. How should you work with them? Be honest about where you need help. Ask for feedback. Tell them about skills you want to develop. Take advantage of opportunities to learn. If you have a problem, don't simply bring the problem. Try to bring a possible solution too. 3. The participative manager. The participative manager wants employee input. They may ask, "What do you think? How would you approach this? Does anyone have another idea?" This style can encourage collaboration and bring different perspectives into decision-making. Coursera. How should you work with them? Come prepared. If they ask for your opinion, give one. Don't simply say, "Whatever you think is best." If you have an idea, explain it. For example, "I recommend option B because it would reduce the number of manual steps." You're not just participating, you're demonstrating judgment. 4. The delegative manager. Now we move to the opposite end of the spectrum. The delegative manager gives employees considerable autonomy. They might say, "Here's what needs to happen. I'll leave the method up to you." This can work particularly well with experienced employees who can manage their own work independently. Coursera. But some employees struggle with this style. Why? Because they're waiting for instructions that aren't coming. How should you work with them? Clarify the outcome. Confirm the deadline. Then take ownership. Don't constantly ask, "What should I do next?" Instead, "Here's what I've completed, here's what I'm doing next, and here's when I expect to finish." That's what autonomy looks like in practice. 5. The transactional manager. The transactional manager focuses heavily on expectations, targets, performance, and measurable outcomes. Their world may revolve around targets, deadlines, metrics, results. Transactional leadership emphasizes structured responsibilities and performance expectations. IMD Business School. How should you work with them? Know your numbers. Know your deadlines. Know your targets. Document your achievements. Don't assume people will remember everything you've accomplished. If you improved a process, record the result. If you reduced errors, measure it. If you increased output, document it. With a results-focused manager, evidence speaks loudly. 6. The transformational manager. The transformational manager is often focused on change, innovation, vision, and future growth. They may ask, "How can we improve this? What could this look like next year? What are we doing today that won't work tomorrow?" They tend to think beyond immediate tasks and focus on larger organizational goals. American Management Association. How should you work with them? Bring ideas. Learn new skills. Think beyond today's task. Look for improvements. Don't simply say, "That's how we've always done it." Instead ask, "Is there a more efficient way to achieve the same result?" That mindset fits naturally into a future-focused environment. One manager can have multiple styles. Here's something important. Don't assume your manager fits neatly into one box. A manager might be authoritative during a crisis, participative during strategic planning, supportive when an employee is developing, delegative when working with an experienced team member, transactional when monitoring performance, transformational when planning organizational change. Management styles can overlap, and managers may adapt their approach according to circumstances. Coursera. So don't focus too heavily on the label. Focus on the behavior. How to identify your manager's style. Want to figure out how your manager operates? Watch what they do. Ask yourself, how do they make decisions? Do they decide alone? Or ask the team, how much direction do they provide? Do they explain every step? Or simply give you the objective? How often do they want updates? Daily? Weekly? Only when there's a problem. What do they focus on? People? Processes? Deadlines? Results? Innovation? These clues tell you a lot. Question 1. How do they communicate? Some managers love email. Others prefer meetings. Some want bullet points. Others want detailed explanations. Some want updates before you even ask. Others prefer you to work quietly and report only when something significant changes. So ask, what's the best way for me to keep you updated? That's a simple question with enormous practical value. Question 2. What does success look like? This is one of the best questions you can ask any manager. What does success look like for this project? Why? Because different managers may prioritize different outcomes. One may care about speed. Another may care about accuracy. Another may care about customer satisfaction. Another may care about innovation. You don't want to work incredibly hard toward the wrong definition of success. Question 3. How much autonomy do they expect? Ask, how much independence would you like me to have with this? This can prevent two common problems. Too little initiative and too much independence. You want to understand the boundaries. Then operate confidently within them. Adapt without losing yourself. Here's where many professionals get confused. Adapting to your manager doesn't mean becoming a completely different person. You don't need 6 personalities for 6 management styles. You need communication flexibility. If your manager prefers concise updates, make your updates concise. If they want detailed information, provide detail. If they value autonomy, demonstrate ownership. If they value collaboration, contribute. Your personality can remain consistent. Your communication can become more flexible. Don't confuse management style with bad management. This distinction matters. A manager can have a different style from yours without being a bad manager. You may prefer autonomy. They may prefer structure. That doesn't automatically mean either of you is wrong. But some behaviors aren't simply management style. Harassment, discrimination, threats, retaliation, serious misconduct. Those situations require a different response. Professional standards still apply regardless of someone's leadership style. What if you have a new manager? A new manager can completely change your working environment. Don't immediately assume the worst. Observe, listen, learn. During the first few weeks, pay attention to how they communicate, how they prioritize, how they give feedback, how they handle mistakes, how they make decisions. Then adjust your approach. You're gathering information before choosing your strategy. What if your manager's style conflicts with yours? This happens all the time. Maybe you like independence. Your manager likes frequent updates. Maybe you like detailed planning. Your manager wants quick execution. Maybe you prefer discussing decisions. Your manager wants short answers. The solution isn't necessarily to fight the difference. Find the overlap. For example, I know you prefer frequent updates. I'll send you a short progress summary every Friday and flag anything urgent immediately. You've created a system. Now both sides know what to expect. Use management style to build your career. Understanding management styles isn't only about making your current job easier. It can help you build career skills. You learn to communicate with different personalities, adjust your approach, manage expectations, demonstrate initiative, give better updates, handle different leadership environments, build stronger professional relationships. Those skills become increasingly valuable as your responsibilities grow. Eventually, you may need to communicate with managers, executives, clients, colleagues, and teams who all operate differently. Flexibility becomes a career asset. If you want to become a manager, there's another reason to understand these styles. One day, you may become the manager, and then you'll discover something interesting. You won't have just one type of employee. You'll have people who need structure, people who want autonomy, people who need coaching, people who love collaboration, people who prefer clear targets, people who want opportunities to innovate. Effective management requires more than having a preferred style. It requires knowing when to adjust. Quick management style cheat sheet. Let's make this simple. Authoritative. They value direction and control. You should be clear, prepared, and responsive. Supportive. They value development and support. You should communicate openly and seek feedback. Participative. They value input and collaboration. You should bring ideas and contribute thoughtfully. Delegative. They value autonomy and ownership. You should take initiative and provide appropriate updates. Transactional. They value targets and measurable results. You should track performance and document outcomes. Transformational. They value vision, change, and innovation. You should bring ideas and think about the future. The bigger career lesson. Here's the real lesson behind management styles. Professional adaptability is not weakness. It is a skill. You can understand someone's communication style without agreeing with everything they do. You can adapt your approach without abandoning your values. You can work effectively with someone whose personality is completely different from yours. And that flexibility can protect your career when you move between teams, companies, industries, and leadership environments. Final thoughts. Different managers lead differently. Some give direction. Some give freedom.
Some focus on people.
Some focus on results.
Some want your ideas.
Some want execution. Some focus on today's performance. Others focus on tomorrow's possibilities. The strongest response isn't to complain that every manager should work the way you prefer. It's to understand the environment you're operating in. Observe. Listen. Ask better questions. Clarify expectations. Adapt your communication. Keep your professional standards. And continue building your skills. Because you won't always get to choose who manages you, but you can choose how effectively you work with them. Understand the style. Adapt your approach. Protect your reputation. Keep growing. If this video helped you understand different management styles, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another professional who could benefit from it. For more practical strategies on career growth, workplace communication, professional reputation, and career security, keep following the Work Ready Hub.